Hi guys, it's Will Estes. I'm coming to you live, so you can ask your questions at #AskWillEstes. And here we are. The first one here is this is new to me. It's the first time, so you guys will have to bear with me. This is Jules asks, "What's your favorite part about filming Blue Bloods in New York City? I know you're an Angelino, but have you fallen for pizza and bagels?" The best part about filming in New York City is the city itself. It's one of the most alive places in the world. It's so fun to get out on the streets and shoot and meet people, and people walk through the shot and mess up the shot, and sometimes they love the show and they'll yell it out during a take, and it's pretty much nonstop excitement. I try not to eat too many pizza and bagels because then I fall asleep. But yeah. All right, the next one is Carla asks, "Do you like playing Jamie Reagan? Would you ever be a cop in real life?" I love playing Jamie Reagan. The most exciting part about this show creatively is learning about the police work, and we have a wonderful technical advisor on the show, Jim Nusiforo, who's detective on first grade on the NYPD, retired 24 years on the job, and I love learning about all the cop stuff and what it really is to chase and catch bad guys. And the next one is Laura asks, "Are you anything like your character Jamie?" That's a good question. I think so. I think I come from sort of the school of acting where all characters that I play are parts and pieces of myself, either exemplified or diminished. So I think I'm exactly like the character Jamie. It's parts of me sort of obscured or parts of me exemplified, but it's all me. This is like a talk show with no host. This is really fun. There's no one else here. All right, Lori Lee asks, "Hi, Lori Lee. Eddie is pretty different from other women Jamie has gone out with. What do you think he likes about her?" Well, I just want to preface with he's not going out with Eddie. There was a kiss, I'm sure some of you guys saw, which I think was sort of a spontaneous transgression. We have a ball together. I think Jamie likes a lot of the things about Eddie that I like about Vanessa Ray. She's so much energy. She's so much fun. She's smart. She's tough. She's a lot of things that you would love to have in a partner, and we just have a lot of fun. So I think Jamie has, and that's true for me with Vanessa, and I think that's true for Jamie as well. Jess asks, "What is it like working with a legend like Tom Selleck?" Yeah, that's a cool one. Tom's the best. I think I've learned more from Tom in the last few years working on Blue Bloods than I have with maybe any other actors that I've worked with. He's so studied. He knows the show so well. He knows his character so well, and he comes into a scene so studied, and he knows story so well that he knows better than probably anyone else I've worked with how character intertwines and works with and serves the story, and I think I learn from him every time we work together. And Steph asks, we're mowing right through this. Steph asks, what has been the most relatable scene for you? I guess that probably goes back a little bit to that question that I just answered about the character Jamie. I don't know. That's a good one. I try to relate to every scene. So the cop stuff is so much fun. Those are the ones that I have the most fun with. Is they've been putting me in the car. They sort of, like, as the seasons have gone on, they sort of trust you more and more. They find out where your talents lie. I grew up in Los Angeles, and when I was a little kid, I would push this Z50 motorcycle that my parents had got me when I was about 6 or 7 years old down the block so that my parents wouldn't hear me start it, and I'd like rip around the neighborhood when I was a kid. And so I've been driving anything with a motor since I was a little kid. So that now they're letting me drive the cop car in Blue Bloods. A lot of those scenes, like a lot of times what we would do is put it on a process trailer or shoot it on with a green screen behind us, which if you know what that is the car's actually static and they put background moving behind us later. But now they just strap a camera to the car and let me drive. So that's usually pretty exciting because in New York City there's a lot of things that you could knock the camera off the car with. But that's been a lot of fun. Kat asks, hi Kat, I know you love 80s music. What is your all-time favorite 80s song? I don't know. I just found a great old album from New Order. That's one of my favorite old bands from the 80s, and they're still around. But one song, that's a tough one. There's so many. Kate Bush, she's great. I just went through a cult phase, so there's so many. There's like a little delay after I finish one and before the next one comes up. I don't know, you guys can't see Byron, but he's helping me out over here. Erica asks, Will, you look so handsome in your police uniform. Are you single? Yeah, I'm still single. I'm still single. I don't know how to answer. I don't know what else to say about that. Katie asks, will you ever join Twitter? You know, I'm gonna learn about social media one of these days. That's one of my. I wrote that down. That's a goal with a pen and paper. I wrote that down. I actually have an iPhone. You guys would be surprised. But you know, ideally for me, like I could meet you guys personally, and you could ask me these questions, and I could answer them for you. I'm that kind of guy. So this is sort of second best, which is great. If you can't have, you know, the in-person thing, and I'm gonna learn about Twitter, and I might just tweet someday. We'll see. Chris asks, who has been your biggest influence in acting? You know, I've been really lucky. I've had a chance to work with a lot of people. One of my favorite acting teachers that I've read is Meisner. But I imagine you mean who I've worked with. You know, I worked with Harvey Keitel. That was amazing. I've worked with Aidan Quinn, who I think is a tremendous actor. But I think I've learned the most about how to approach story through character and so forth through Tom Selleck, and that's definitely been one of my biggest influences. Lucy asks, what do you do to relax between filming scenes of Blue Bloods? That's a great question. I'm always sort of trying to figure that one out. Sometimes I'll bring a book to set, but it's hard for me to do that kind of thing. So I'll usually it's got to be like music. One time I worked on a show for a while that was on a stage, and I had a dressing room right here, and I would play video games a lot. Anything to sort of relax your mind. I love shooting basketball. Every time there's a court nearby, I'll shoot hoops. Anything where I don't have to think too much. That's what I like to do to relax between scenes. Christy asks, what is it like, this is just like the old days, you know, but I would have to say where you're from. Like Christy from... Not sure where you're from, Christy. I should just start making them up. Christy asks, what is it like working with Donnie? Donnie Wahlberg is a machine. He's the engine of the show. He never stops. From what I understand, Donnie will work a full day and then go home and like work on his music projects. And if I could bottle up the energy that Donnie has, I would do it, because he's the best. I always look forward to working with him. One of the things I was most excited about when this show started is the scenes that I would get to do with my brother, who's a detective, who I was, you know, following in the footsteps of. And whenever I get those scenes, I love it. Mandy asks, who decided on the seat allocation at the dinner table? I've noticed you all sit in the same place every week now. Originally moved around. That's a really great question. No one, I don't think anyone decided. I think it just sort of happened. But yeah, we have our own. We definitely have all our own spots now. The truth is, somebody probably decided, and I just never knew about it. But I'm not sure. Byron, help me out over here. There's no feedback when I'm funny. No one laughs. When I'm bad, no one tells me to hurry up. This is it's like treading water in cyberspace. Okay. Line asks, what is your favorite episode of Blue Bloods so far? Gosh, the biggest storyline for me personally was finding out the people who were responsible for my older brother's death in the line of duty. So, the resolution of that storyline at the end of season 2, it's all a blur, was a cool episode for me. I don't think I had a lot to do per se in that particular episode, but I love that storyline. So the conclusion of that was powerful for me personally. And next, Tara asks, what was your favorite show growing up? That's a good one. I'm gonna dork myself out a little bit here. Well, when I was really little, I would watch like G.I. Joe cartoons and Transformers, and but one of the shows that I remember watching when I was a little kid was Star Trek: The Next Generation with Patrick Stewart, and I was recently able to see him in a play on Broadway, so that was really cool because I hadn't seen a lot of his work in the meantime. I know he's done a lot of great things, but he was so good in that show, and I love Star Trek: Next Generation with Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. Shania asks, this is dangerous. I'm just gonna no one stops me, so I'm just gonna tell you my entire life story. This is dangerous. Nobody wants to know all these things. But Shania wants to know, do you have any hidden talents we should know about? I feel like I prefaced this question perfectly. All kinds of things nobody wants to know about. I'm double jointed. I don't know if that qualifies. I love to drive dirt bikes. My mom made me swear that I would never get a street bike again, but I'm in New York, so she would never know at this point. So I don't know, anything I get to ride on. I love to surf as well, so that's sort of my bend. Bruce asks, you're doing great, Will. Hey, thank you. Thanks for your time. Hey, I think someone behind this glass just made that one up, but if not, thank you very much, Bruce. That I think I needed that. Next question. Amanda asks, when do you think Jamie will be promoted to detective? I should start a letter campaign, Amanda, because I've been asking that same question myself. I think eventually I'll have to get promoted. I just had a great scene with Tom that has not aired yet, I believe, where I take it back. I believe it has. I get these on DVD, so sometimes I'm not sure what's aired yet. Where I asked my father if, because of his lack of favoritism, because of his adherence to being professional, if that's actually held me back from being promoted, because my father made detective in 3.5 years, and my brother made it in 4.5 years, and am I being held back because my father is the commissioner in any way? And I end up getting I get assigned a case in a White Shield detective capacity, and so that issue is actually kind of addressed on the show. So I think eventually we'll have to promote Jamie, but one thing I was told is that if I get promoted and I'm wearing a suit on the show, then nobody on a regular basis on the show is wearing the uniform, the NYPD uniform. So I think I might stay in the uniform a little bit longer. Not that you can't wear the uniform if you're a detective and work in a uniform capacity, but on a regular basis, I wouldn't be in uniform. Shelley asks, who has been your favorite actor, actress to work with throughout your career? That's a good one. I touched on that before. I actually worked with Cheech Marin in a project called See You in My Dreams, and that was a lot of fun. But to pick one person is sort of impossible. You know, I've made some great friends in this business, and one of my best friends to this day is a camera operator that I worked with on American Dreams, and so some of those people that are my favorite people to work with are not actors or actresses, but hard to pick one. Jillian asks, what's your favorite thing to do when you get back to LA? That's a good one. I just got back to Los Angeles. We're in LA here. It looks like New York behind us a little bit. You know, my favorite thing to do is to wake up next to my dogs and maybe go out for a hike. I just like being here sometimes. When it was a long winter in New York, so just being back in Los Angeles is sort of great for a minute. What has been your favorite? Lynn asks, hi Lynn. What has been your favorite storyline for Jamie? What has been my favorite storyline for Jamie? That's a good one. You know, sort of two. You know, I touched on it before. Researching and trying to sort of find out who was responsible for my brother's death early on in the show was really powerful. So that was a lot of fun. That was a driving storyline for me. But you know, working with Vanessa Ray has been so much fun, and it brings a levity to my character and to the show that is great, both on and off camera. You know, both as an actor and I think for the character. And so, excuse me, anything I get to do with Vanessa Ray is always a lot of fun too. And I feel like there should be a halftime show at this point, right? I forgot props. I didn't realize there would be no one else in the room. I would have brought a costume or at least a wig. Okay, Sammy asks, what advice would you give to those who want to be an actor? That's a good question. You know, I think it really depends on where you're starting. I think realistically, if you're starting, you probably have to try to, you know, get to a place like Los Angeles or New York, depending on if you want to do theater or more television. A lot of stuff doesn't shoot in Los Angeles anymore, but a lot of stuff I think still casts either Los Angeles or New York. Things cast in London as well. I've never worked there myself. But I think you need to have an agent because they legally get breakdowns and send you out on meetings. There's other ways that can happen, but that's just sort of by hook or by crook, however you can get introduced to something. And then I think you just sort of have to follow your heart artistically at that point and do what you want to do. I think you have to sort of simultaneously be ready to be open and learn, and also, you know, follow your own passion creatively. And I think that's all I can say without knowing more about yourself. Dave asks, from New Jersey, I can finally say it, Dave from New Jersey. Dave, thanks Dave for putting that in. Dave from New Jersey asks, I'm an EMT. Emergency medical technician, I believe that stands for. Do you work with any of the EMTs that are really from FDNY? Yes, we do. And there was this interesting conflict on the set the other day because the EMT's opinion of what we should do in a resuscitation situation in the show differed from our police technical advisor's opinion of what should happen. And I love going to the EMTs and finding out what they know and how to do all that stuff. I'm intrigued because if I ever have my blood drawn or watch anyone else, I can't look at it because I'll pass out. So I'm sort of like supremely grateful for people that can do that type of work. So I'll chat them up and ask them when they're on the set. We have them on set in a technical advising capacity. But in that one particular situation, I had to side with the opinion of the NYPD technical advisor on the show because my character would know what a cop knows and not what an EMT would know, obviously, because my character's not an EMT. So the police officers are trained in first aid as well. So so for me personally, I deferred to the NYPD version of it, but we have EMTs on board, and also Amy Carlson plays a nurse on the show, so I'm sure she always has an EMT tech on the set when we shoot those scenes. Thanks for that, Dave, and thanks for telling me where you're from. Dinah asks, tell us about your real-life dog. How come none of the Reagans have pets? That's funny you say that. We've been talking about that. Tom keeps bringing that up. He says, we have to have a dog. And I'm not sure if he's kidding or not. But that would be one more character. There's like hardly any more room for seats at the Reagan family dinner table. But a dog wouldn't actually need a seat, so we could add a dog to the Reagan family dinner scenes. I think that would be really cool. I'm a lifelong dog lover. Tell us about your real life dog. I think we'll talk about that later. That's like that hidden talents question, right? Thank you for that, Dinah. Leanne, there's no rules. There's no rules. I could just get up and start dancing at this point. I could sing songs. I should have brought a puppet because I feel like it would all be more fun. Leanne asks, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Did your dreams come true? I feel like one of the luckiest people I know when it comes to work. I love what I do. When I was a kid, I never chose acting. It wasn't something, I think some guys when they're 3 years old, they're like, I want to be a fireman, and they grow up and they become firemen, and they always knew they wanted to do it. I played with a lot of G.I. Joe figures as a kid. And I would act out like elaborate scenes, So in a way, I would build elaborate forts, and there was vehicles, and like a sort of a whole drama would unfold throughout the course of a battle. And I think in a way, it definitely wasn't Shakespeare. I see they're putting up the next question. No one wants to hear this answer. I think in a way I was sort of acting out scenes in one way or another. I was always sort of imaginative as a kid. So jumping forward in time to when I was, graduating from high school and thinking about going to college, I love acting. I think I had a propensity for, imagining stories since I was a kid. So it found me more than I picked it initially, but I think I'm doing what I should be doing. Thank you for that question. Cole asks, do you ever do your own stunts? I have a shirt that says I do my own stunts. But I've gotten to drive on the show. I love doing my own stunts. I try to do a lot of that. Some of my favorite stuff as an actor is when you don't have to act. When you really get to do something. It always helps me as an actor. If you're playing chess, you should just really be playing chess. If you're eating, you should really be eating. That gets tough if you do a lot of takes. I love when I really get to drive. It really helps me with those scenes. When you have to fake driving, I think as an actor it can distract from your process to create something that's clearly fake, when what you're trying to do is tell an emotional truth. Like if I have to be, out of breath and amped up in a scene, and I ran a block before the scene starts in the show. I always love to try and run that block or in some way get going, because then that's one more thing that I don't have to fake in the scene. So as real as it can be, I always try to make it that. But I don't do as many of my own stunts. We have a great stunt team, and some of what those guys do is really incredible. Chad, thank you. He does about 99% of my stunts. Hi, Chad. He's probably not watching, but I'm gonna wave anyway. Stephanie asks, do the family dinner scenes remind you of anything with your family? No, the family dinner scenes on Blue Bloods are sort of like the family that I think a lot of people wish they had. I don't come from a big family. I had a lot of cousins when I was a kid, but they weren't over for family dinner. So I love those family dinner table scenes. Those are something that I think as a cast we all really enjoy a lot, but I didn't... They don't remind me of my family. No is the answer to that question. Thank you. And Sarah asks, what attracted you to the role of Jamie Reagan? When I read the first episode of Blue Bloods, it was the best script that I'd read in a long time. So I wanted to do it. It was a family of cops. It was sort of the opposite of The Sopranos, instead of a story about a mob family. It was really, Sopranos was a story about a family that happened to be mobsters, Blue Bloods is a story about a family that happened to be NYPD cops. And it was just the best thing I'd read in a long time. And I wanted to do it from the moment I read it. And Susan asks, who was the best guest star you had a chance to... No one will stop me. I'll be here for the next 6 weeks. Later, we'll have coffee and tea. Susan asks, who was the best guest star you had a chance to work with? The best guest star, that's a tough one. We've had some great ones. My favorite that I didn't get to work with was when Chaz Palminteri had scenes with Tom Selleck. That was awesome. I actually didn't know he was doing the show until I saw the episode, because I wasn't in those scenes. And no one tells me anything, and I just love those scenes. I thought that those were so cool, and I just love seeing two powerful actors like that. Like Tom and Chaz was, for me, so cool. But that I had a chance to work with. I'm forgetting someone amazing right now, but there's been so many. Serena asks, this is great because no one can hold my feet to the fire. I can just skip right through. Serena asks, any upcoming projects besides Blue Bloods you can tell us about, films or theater? Yeah, I have a couple films coming out that I'm really excited about. One is called Automotive, which is a film by Tom Glenn, and it hasn't been released yet. And another is Anchors, and I'm really excited about those two projects. Marie asks, what can we expect in season 5? That's a good one. Kevin Wade, who's our fearless producer and showrunner, told me to say a big boy slice of the best television you can get. And hi Kevin, if you're watching me, bomb this this interview. Wait, no, they're trying to tell me that, and they're telling me I'm done now. They're pulling me off. Byron, I need 10 more seconds. It's gonna be a great season 5. I think that for me personally, they told me that they love the chemistry between Vanessa Ray and I, so they're gonna write more stuff for us. So I'm really excited about that. And otherwise, I think it's gonna be one more action-packed season of Blue Bloods. Thanks for chatting. Don't forget to tune in to Blue Bloods tonight at 10 p.m. Thanks, everyone.